Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Angry Chicken. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Willie Does Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat. Welcome back, guys.
Yo, what's up, man?
Ah,
Whoa, what was that? Are you playing some Mech? Are you playing Mech Shaman? Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, yeah, that's a Noyotron. I was thinking, wee!
Gnomish engineers are now making money selling voice modules for different models of the Noyotron, and that's the Jocelyn module.
That'd be so cool.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm impressed.
I forgot to do it normally, and I know you guys can't see it because the title card is up, but normally in the intro when the Noyotron goes off, I go, yay! And I didn't do it this week because I was like reading through notes and like reading chat and stuff, and then I was like, oh no, I missed my Noyotron, so had to have it in there, otherwise couldn't jump into tech.
Yeah, you're being like professional
okay
and crap.
Yeah, everything's right with the world.
Where's the fun in that? Well, before we jump into it, I just want to take a moment to inform everyone before a 3,000th email is sent. Yes, we are aware that we gave misinformation on the last Brawl episode about how the chickens and the coins work.
Okay. I didn't play it again after that, so.
You were the one championing it. You were the one like, yeah, these two haters, this is a great Brawl,
well,
everyone.
no, but after that was done, I had played it a lot at that point, so I didn't play it again.
Fair enough. Yeah, so not that it really matters because the Brawl's gone for now, I'm sure, but for when it comes back, feel free to play chickens or coins as many times as you want because it doesn't matter whether you play them or whether you keep them in your hand. They always go back in your deck.
Yes. So, I was going to include that email.
About that?
Because we said that you shouldn't play chickens because then it puts a copy in your deck.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, okay. Now I remember.
Yeah. None of us actually realized, like, wait, if it makes a copy after you play it, or if you hold on to it.
But I think that might have just been a conversation that was... Because what I was thinking about was when we were talking about the discard mechanic, but maybe it was something else. Maybe it just happened. Because I did understand that's how it worked.
Oh, gotcha.
At the time.
Oh.
But we probably just misspoke or something like that then.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think we all understood that's how it worked, right?
No, I totally did not.
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Joss and I totally thought, like, you play, you make copies, you increase your chances, but, yeah, it's, I guess
I thought the chickens were multiplying.
Yeah, once you have one chicken, you will always have one chicken, whether you play it or not.
Well,
Unless you like do something where you, like, copy your chicken.
All those decks will always...
So are we just going to like full on talk about Brawl right now, or are we going to save this for Thursday? Because this is totally like the email I'd pick for Thursday.
No, we'll save it for Thursday.
I was just putting in this correction because I'm sick of snarky tweets at us being like, are you aware of how wrong you were?
Yeah. So those are funny to me because I'm like, when we talk for an hour and a half, some things are going to be wrong. So it's just going to happen, man.
I love
if you talk for an hour and a half, you'd say something wrong too.
I also like the critiques that are like, how dare you not bring it? How are none of you an expert on deck building games? And I'm like, I don't know, because none of us play deck building games.
I didn't even know that deck building games.
I did not know that was a genre.
No.
Nope. Well, yeah, it is. There was the recent one was like you would build a deck and then you'd play like a little top-down looking little game, but I only played like a little bit of it and I got bored. So yeah, that's the only one I played.
Fair enough.
Not an expert. Not an expert. Sorry, buddy. Can't even remember the name of it now.
But yeah, so that was the feedback, and sorry for the misinformation. I still think that Brawl was lame. Now,
on to cool stuff.
Yeah, this week's Hearthstone news. It's super cool.
Good news, everyone.
Of course it's a cool week. We got the third wing of League of Explorers. The frickin' the Ruined City is here, guys, and we got a ton more cards. We didn't have another week off like we did over Thanksgiving week. And it's a Murloc bonanza.
Yep. But really, well, okay, I guess some people can't help themselves but play the Tiny Fin. But really one card has made it like the Murloc bonanza, and that's anything can happen.
Oh, I thought you.
It's crazy.
I thought.
You thought I was gonna say Sir Finley. Well, Sir Finley goes in lots of decks.
No, I thought you were gonna say Jungle Moonkin.
Oh, sorry. That too, man. Totally. And all my Murloc druids, I put in.
I mean, we do have to tip our tack hats to the Jungle Moonkin because if you read its flavor text in the collection, it says it's the real Angry Chicken.
Really?
Yes, that is the flavor text on the Jungle Moonkin.
Huh.
Thank you to everyone who tweeted that at us. That was just making me smile.
I totally didn't know
I
that.
take offense to that. We're the real Angry Chicken.
Well, maybe the three of us combined actually weigh as much as a Moonkin in the lore. I don't know.
All right, you know what? I'm never playing that card. Screw that. I'm the real angry chicken.
I love it. I love it, man. Personally, I'm bothered that the Jungle Moonkin is a beast because aren't Moonkin humanoid in World of Warcraft? I can't.
They're owls, right?
I
The
can't.
big, giant owls.
I can't tame them as a hunter. I can't skin them as a skinner.
True.
They are humanoid.
True.
They are not beasts. So
Yeah, I think so. I think actually, even if you mouse over one, right? Doesn't it say like humanoid?
I'm pretty sure,
Okay.
and I'm sure if I'm wrong,
we'll
everybody
get
will let me
tweets.
know.
And emails.
Everyone will let me know.
Looking forward to this.
And I love anyone who corrects me on the proper classification of a Moonkin. You are my people. Let's be friends. So
Well, they are called boom chickens a lot of times. So,
yeah, that's what I used to call it.
I guess if boom is the same as angry, fine. I never thought of it like I was never like, man, I'm so boom right now. So I don't know.
You've totally just started a new phrase.
That really booms me off, man.
And now with the
That sounds just wrong.
Exactly.
oh jeez.
That booms me off.
Wow. You're now making me think in my head of what a Boom Chicken card would be in Hearthstone, because when you think of Boom, you think of Dr. Boom. So do we have like some huge Moonkin that shoots
Dr.
out
Boom
two
Chicken.
smaller Moonkin?
Yeah, they'd be like little robo chickens, but then they'd explode. It would be
Yeah.
great.
So we'd have a card that's called the
let's
Boom
make Dr.
Chicken.
Boom
and
Chicken.
it would be one large Moonkin and two very small Moonkin.
You know what? Even if Blizzard never makes Dr. Boom Chicken, anybody out there who wants to just make that picture,
Oh
send
jeez.
it to us.
I'm also pretty sure we already have the title for the episode. Dr. Boom Chicken. But yeah, no.
Well, I'm glad that conversation found its way to that
Yeah.
resolution.
So-
'cause it was good.
So did either of you think going in that anything can happen was going to have the effect that it has had so far?
Not quite. I thought it had the potential, though. When you look at the card, it's crazy, right? What it actually
Right.
does. But the deck I initially tried was like a control deck that had just. Well, first I just tried like kind of an aggro-y Murloc deck that was like, but then I got a finisher, or I could come back if I'm like way behind at the end. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, no, I think you just make a control deck that just plays like Murloc Knights or something, and then you have this card that even if you just made a few Murlocs during the game, if you have a really slow Paladin deck, you'll have a big giant Murloc turn at the end. So that would be pretty cool. And then people started coming up with this crazy deck, which is kind of what I was thinking, but much more like a much more refined version, and it's awesome.
Yeah, when we get into today's strategy, we'll be talking about. I grabbed Savitsa's Murloc Paladin list, so we'll be talking about that, and there'll be a link to that in the show notes. But there's all kinds of Murloc Paladins that are popping up.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's trying it. And I'm seeing the Murloc Shaman, which I don't think is nearly as good.
Which is so funny because that's the one I totally gravitated towards.
Really?
I was
Yeah.
like, I looked at the two lists and I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't want to play a paladin that's basically just a paladin deck with a bunch of Murlocs sprinkled in. I was like, I looked at the shaman list and I was like, this looks like fun because it's just basically all Murlocs with a couple of little kind of tweaks to it, or not necessarily tweaks, but it's like a couple of your normal kind of powerful shaman cards, but then just like Murlocs everywhere. Plus you get to play Neptulon in it. And I'm just like, oh man, I wanted to play that card from like when it actually came out and there just wasn't enough tools. But now I'm just like, man, oh man, this is so fun. I went like 6-3 with the first version of it. And then I tweaked it a little to add some AoE. And then I went like 3-1. Like it's so fun. Love it. It's so much better than anything else I've played on ladder in the last like month.
Are you playing it with tiny fins and everything? Or are you just like,
Yeah.
zero
And
Murlocs?
actually,
Yeah.
I am playing with 2 tiny fins, and I crafted gold ones because chat made me, and they are the most adorable
little
things
hearts and
of life.
stuff,
They
yeah.
have little hearts, and then
Oh
they're
my
like
God.
the big, huge tiny fin eyes, and then they like blink, and they're just like, I couldn't be any more adorable. It would be impossible to make a more adorable card.
Now
I got tiny fin lethal a couple
Challenged.
times, and I was just like,
Blizzard, you've been
yes.
challenged.
yeah.
Yeah.
Josh
Thanks.
says it's impossible.
Thanks, Jocelyn, because as everyone knows, I'm still lacking quite a few cards in my collection, and now I am considering blowing dust on golden tiny fins. So
I'm telling you, dude, you should Google it because it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Every time I play it, I'm just like, oh my god, like how can you even kill that card? You just can't because they're too cute. It's a 1/1. It's not like it's a threat until I buff it with all of my other Murlocs.
It's a
and then it hits
Murloc
you
in a
the face for
Murloc
10.
deck. It is a threat. They are all threats.
Yeah, I just
so
I
good.
just don't like that style of Murloc play. I think anymore. That's the style of Murloc play that originally made me hate Murlocs. Was like, here's all the Murlocs, bam, like just blah, vomiting Murlocs, and like it was just like that. Like then they go like AOE, and you're like, aw, and all the Murlocs are dead. But like originally in vanilla, that was what the Warlocks were kind of doing. But at least Shaman like has the tools to kind of go late game if it ever gets to that point, which I think is what makes it somewhat okay. But I'm really digging a control Murloc deck that has a burst OTK finisher. That's crazy to me that exists now, and that's what we've got, which is just the weirdest thing. So multiple like when you see Murlocs now, it's like, ooh, which kind of Murloc is this? And that's
Exactly.
that's a
Yeah.
cool thing.
There's like finesse to it now, right? Like
Yeah.
no.
There's
and
choices.
by the way, finesse. See what I did there? Yeah.
Nice one. Every
but-
finesse is awesome. Every finesse joke is awesome.
But there hasn't. We haven't had that with Murlocs. Like
Yeah.
the Paladin list that we're going to talk about today. It's like a mid range Paladin with Murlocs baked in, and I love that.
And the version I'm playing, Dog's version, is just like a stall deck that it's literally you're stalling for a combo. And the thing is, you don't have to play Thaurissan because your combo just is one card that costs 10. So you don't have to make a bunch of things cheaper to enable said combo. You just have to have played Murlocs in the game and had them die. And it literally puts in a specific peppering of Murlocs. I think the one I was using has 1 Grimscale Oracle, and it's like 6 Murlocs. So it's not even the full 7. If you put in 2 Grimscales, it's 30 damage exactly. But I think with 6, you still get something like 24 or 26 damage or something like that, which is generally enough. So like you just stall, and then play all the Murlocs in one turn and go face. It's really, really crazy.
I burnt through a Reno deck that used Reno thanks to freaking anything can happen. It's ridiculous.
What's awesome is when you run 2 of them, you do one just to get them really low, and then you do the other, and then they do Reno or something. You're like, haha, did it again.
I've yet to have that beautiful scenario where actually, usually I've yet to have a game that didn't end in my favor once anything can happen can come out, and I've yet to have a game where I need 2 of them, but I am running 2, so I'm sure that
I
will come
used
across
2
that.
a lot, actually. I used 2 against the Control Warrior last night. The first one I did to get him down to like 16, I was like, and then he's going to have to brawl, or else he just loses because I have all my Murlocs still on the board. And then he brawled, and then I did it again, and I won. So it's like just having, because most of the games go late game where you end up drawing both of them if it, like I've had almost all my games go to like 26, 27 cards in my deck with a Murloc deck. Well, kind of, but
Murloc-ish.
But
but Murlocs are key to the strategy, so it's a Murloc.
That is the interesting thing, though, right? Is it's not all in Murloc. It's
Yes.
a deck that kind of stands on its own and has Murlocs as the win condition.
In fact, it's a deck that runs not only Murlocs, but 2 Zombie Chows.
Yeah.
Yes.
What? Wait, I'm playing Murlocs and I want to heal you? That makes no sense.
It's good, man. I'm digging it. I for one welcome our new fishy overlords. So
Yeah, see, I mean, the only thing that pissed me off about him before was that there was one way to play him, and it was
super
all
cheesy.
in. And if I, if I am able to fight you back, it's kind of like when you play against Face Hunter. You're just like, oh god, either he gets like the god draw or not, right?
Right.
And if he does, there's nothing I could do. And if he doesn't, well, then I win. And like that kind of deck isn't that fun really to exist in the game, where you're just kind of like, let's see who draws better. Like you want to have decisions to make, right?
Right.
And a deck like this is awesome because throughout the whole game, you're doing these like really complex plays to manage the health and attack totals of the enemy minions and your own, because you're running like peacekeepers and keepers of Oldemon and equalities and all that. And you just play this super long game. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah. Now we're gonna dive back into Murlocs once we get to strategy. So
Yes.
I'll save the Sir Finley discussion for then. Are there any other cards though that you guys are particularly interested in? And now a lot of them really haven't made it into constructed. But what about Arena?
Well, Entomb is awesome. The priest card Entomb, because it kills something without actually enabling its death rattle, and then also puts it in your deck. So I really want to try like the slower control priest again. I think just with this one addition, it sucks, I think, still against aggro, unless you get kind of lucky and get your Akonai circle kind of combo off. But against any other control deck, like this has to just make you win the control matchups, right? Like stealing your big threats and then playing them again later. So that card I think is really exciting.
Yeah, I got Entombed today, and it was just the worst. It was like he entombed my Neptulon, I think, and then he murlocked me. Like, I swear to God, I got milkshaked. It was ridiculous. It was just, he just stole all of my shaman stuff. And yeah, I really think I got milkshaked today. And part of that was this entomb on my Neptulon and then murlocs to my face. And I was like, oh,
when you get milkshaked, it really booms you off, doesn't it, Justin?
It really booms me off, yeah.
It's extremely premium removal, right? I mean,
yeah, it's like the best removal that there is, I think.
Like when we think of simple removal, like, it's just like we always look at Hex, right? We use Hex as kind of our pinnacle, and so this costs double of what Hex does, but what it does, what it accomplishes is ridiculous. So,
I mean,
because it's totally out of the game, and you get one. So whatever that huge threat is,
so this is like Sylvanas' ultimate answer, right? Like you're just like, no, you're not going to take one of my minions. I'm in fact going to take your Sylvanas and later take one of your minions. So how do you feel about that?
No, it's my Sylvanas. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's like, and you think about its cost is comparable to, say, Siphon Soul, right? And Siphon Soul kills a minion and heals you and costs 6. And so, we get that that's got some power to it as well. But this is just objectively better, right? Like, unless you needed 3 health, this card is just like, I kill it for 6, and then I play it, and then if we go to fatigue, I also have 1 extra card in my deck now. So I go to fatigue later than you. So it just seems like such a perfect match for a really, really slow controlling priest, which is, I think something that they kind of wanted, You have to run things like death and stuff, and then it's like mind control is too expensive, and this is something more in the middle ground that actually works.
Yeah. And don't discount Siphon Soul out there, everyone. It's a perfectly fine card, and the health is great for any Warlock that's going to play a long game because they're going to be tapping like crazy. But
yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying Siphon Soul's bad. I'm just saying, like, compare the cards. And Warlock cards are supposed to be worse because their hero power is broken. There you go.
How broken is it? I got it a couple times on Shaman this week, thanks to Finley, and it's wonderful.
Oh my God, it's so amazing.
So having the Warlock hero power with, like, other classes that have non-weekend class cards.
Yeah.
Now that's really broken.
Yep. Can be super dangerous on Shaman, though, since their healing is pretty terrible. But yeah. But if you're playing Burst Shaman, it's just... It's kind of perfect. You don't care. Yeah. I just need to draw into my bursts. So here's a way to do it. Awkward starting hand? I guess I'll take tap. Why not?
Yeah. What I love about the Shaman deck, too, is if you take the Druid one, you actually buff your whatchamacallit?
Doomhammer?
Your Doomhammer, yes.
Yeah.
So you hit for 6 a turn with that. So there's a lot of really good choices for Shaman.
Yeah. I've gotten the Druid hero power multiple times on a Shaman now, and it's fantastic with Doomhammer.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts? I want to talk a little bit about the Gorilla Bot A3 text templating because I'm a nerd about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, this was. Did he talk about this on his video, Ben Brode?
No,
or did someone just realize
this?
It was
the Reddit, I think.
This was, I believe, it was a comment by Ben Brode on the Hearthstone subreddit.
Okay.
So when you look at GorillaBot A3, it reads, if you control another mech. So that's the trigger. So the trigger for GorillaBot is controlling another mech. Goblin Blast Mage, Shady Dealer, cards like that, the trigger is exactly the same, but they read if you have a blank instead of if you control another blank.
Yeah.
So some players pointed this out on the Hearthstone subreddit and said, "Hey, what gives more inconsistency in Hearthstone? What the crap?" And Ben Brode got in and said that this is a new card templating that they're testing, and they want to know which wording players prefer.
Well, what do you prefer, Garrett?
I believe if you control is the most accurate way to write this.
I agree.
Because if you have a mech, if I was a brand new player, I think I would misconstrue that as having a mech in hand.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly my point. Yeah, I was going to say the same exact thing. It also is kind of like if I have like what about in my deck? Like, I have one. I just haven't drawn it yet. Like, it's just really weird to say things that way.
And
So-
Cheesy Bum in the chat room brings, or not Cheesy Bum, sorry, Jim the Shovel in the chat room brings up a really good point too. That like the word "another" in there is really important because GorillaBot is in itself a mech, so that tells you that it does not trigger itself.
Because and this is again like we were talking about. Battle cries happen before the minion hits the board, right? Like this is kind of a weird thing, and again more inconsistency. So you could not have that, but I think it's better to just like always be clear, right? Just always be clear with whatever it says. Because otherwise you could say, like in Magic, it's like, oh, well, now I have a mech. And actually some stuff in Magic works that way. Like you play something and it says, like, if you have this, and you're like, yeah, I do, because now I have it. Like, because I just played this card, so now I have one. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, so it seems like, Team 5 really, wants feedback on this, so tweet at them, post on the subreddit, get that information to them. Write them a letter and, like, seal it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and write an address on it.
Mail that.
That is a thing you can do. So, walk outside to your gnomish mailbox on a spring, put it inside.
All of this gnome stuff, dude. You've been alliance sized.
I may have dusted off my Alliance tunes on WoW this week, so sorry.
Tisk tisk.
So also in the news this week, Ben Brode put up another developer insights video. And the video went down briefly, but I hear it is back up on the official YouTube, but there was a mirror link. I don't know. You can find it. It's up places. We have one of the links, although it's apparently being kind of finicky. But it should be up on the official Hearthstone YouTube now. But go take a look at it. But he's basically directly responding to comments on his last video about power creep cards. And there's some, I think, really interesting insights into how to develop the game, aka the title of these damn videos. But he kind of went in and it was surprising. The whole talk was, it kind of just seems like a part 2 of his last video, because his last video was very heavy on what the new player experience is like. And a lot of the discussion that he had here about power creep is based around the whole idea of the new player experience.
Yeah, this seemed very much like a continuation of the last video after reading through all of the comments, which he said he did on the video. So.
Yeah, exactly. He uses Ice Rager, Evil Heckler, and Dr. Boom as examples of direct power creep, because those were examples that commenters were using. And I think those are good examples, especially for the discussion that he has. Because it was interesting. He emphasized that those 3 cards are expansion cards, and they're better than basic cards. They're strictly a power creep on a basic card. And then he got real philosophical about the term power creep, which I dig. I love this kind of crap. But he was saying that basically to him, that power creep hasn't occurred if the cards in question don't see play or haven't made decks stronger as a result, aka Ice Rager and Evil Heckler.
Now, yes, this is true, but I would argue, if I was standing in front of Ben Brode, I would argue that Mad Scientist and Piloted Shredder are examples of power creep. Direct examples are better, like these ones, is Ice Rager to Magma Rager stuff. But if you think about it, those are the ones that really like affected things, right? Like we have objectively better 4-drops and 2-drops now than we did before. So that's harder to explain to somebody why those are just better than the ones we already had. But those are the ones that are actually like that. Those are still power creep and they're affecting the game, right? So,
right. Unless you're a paladin, you're just going, where do I fit this damn shredder in?
Well, now, but before, paladins were like all about it. But also things like shielded mini bot over what paladins could, like you could say, oh, it's creep when I suddenly now have a better option at 2 than I did before. You could also make that argument. It's not quite the same, but
Yeah. Well, he closed up his video by basically saying that, the question being posed is, should Team 5 be allowed to make cards that are strictly better than basic cards?
Yes.
And he thinks the answer is yes, and I agree. That is a world I want to live in. That is a game I want to play. Yeah,
I don't ever want it to be like, oh, you see all those new expansion cards? They had to make them all really weak so that they don't replace any of the other cards. So, we're not going to use them, but let's buy them all. Like, that sucks. No, I don't want that. I want to buy the new cards and then play them because they're good and they're better.
I feel like the outcome of that would just be like, Well, we already had a 2-2 for 2 that has a battle cry. I guess the only thing we can do is make a 2-2 for 2 with a death rattle.
Exactly.
Mrr.
That's what you end
And
up
then
doing.
by the
And
end of
we're
it,
kind of getting that, right? Like if you think
Yeah.
about things like Huge Toad and Flame Juggler, they're like trying to repackage the 2-drop in like a different way. And it's like you're running out of stuff, man. Like at some point you're just like, yeah, we've done all the things we could do here.
well, I feel like you could make that argument about any card game ever in the
Sure.
history of
Absolutely.
history.
Yes, absolutely. Magic's found a way for sure for 20 years to continue to make 2-drops that are different. So
Yeah. Well, also part of the other way they found a way is by reusing cards because they have a format
Yes.
that has previous stuff fall off.
yes,
But that's a longer conversation for a different day that we've had already over the course of many, many episodes.
and we will have again.
And we will
I'm
have
sure.
again until we get some kind of announcement on how the increasing card size of Hearthstone will be addressed.
Yeah, but I just real quick though, is it possible to have a game like Hearthstone or any card game just not have power creep? Period.
I don't. I think so. I don't think it's possible to do that and keep current players interested.
Sure. Okay.
Fair enough.
I'll buy that answer. That's a good answer, I think. I'll allow it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I one more little hat tip to Ben, because there's a quote in this video when he's talking about the complaint of unfairness to new players. So if you make a card like Magma Rager, say that trend continues, eventually we just have a ton of commons in expansions that are 1-to-1 better than basic cards. That's unfair to new players. They're going to lose based on power creep. And he went into a long, well-articulated discussion about how, really right now, the power creep from a card like Ice Rager is not the reason new players are losing games.
No.
And the best thing was he said that, we give new players a lot of cards, and then, quote, you probably shouldn't be playing Magma Rager, even if we give it to you. And
Yeah. They give you Goldshire Footman.
I
They
laughed.
just give it to you.
I left very heartily alone in my office.
I kind of feel like he did mention that in the one of his previous videos. I can't remember if it was the last one or not. But basically, because he brought up Eye for an Eye and was just like, it's part of people learning. Like he said this before. Like we give awesome, amazing cards, we give middle of the road cards, and we give bad cards because deck building is part of the experience too. And if you put something like Magma Rager or Eye for an Eye into your deck, then you're gonna lose, and that's gonna teach you something as well. We can't just give you like all total awesome stuff or really, really crappy stuff all at the same time. Like they have to give you a mix of cards so that you can learn how to build a deck. That being said, I'm still crappy at deck building. Like, so, I mean, that whole new player experience might have been a little bit lost on me, I guess. But
Well,
I think he has touched on this before.
But it doesn't train you to build a deck, but it shows you like bad cards are good cards, and then you can put a bad card in and go, this card isn't working. Like this is a bad card. And that's kind of what it does for a new.
No, I agree too, and you're cutting out.
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I might have to just restart the whole thing. So.
I mean, you sound okay. It's just like it almost like it's. A
I know it's
connection
doing it to you guys too. So let me. I'll call you back.
Okay,
I'll rejoin.
there it goes.
I'll end call.
And out of here. Totally out of here. But no, I'm glad you brought that up because that was a point he made in this video again too. That there's bad cards in the basic cards by design. That's so at a very entry level you can learn that not all cards are good. Not all cards should be included just because it fills out your curve.
Yeah.
So. Really interesting video. I highly recommend everyone go and check it out. As usual, I feel like Ben does a really good job kind of articulating how they design the game, which I always find super fascinating.
Did they say it is posted again on the normal Hearthstone kind of
Yes,
like YouTube? It's not because I couldn't find it.
I was told on Twitter that it should be back up, but again, this was like right before the show that I got this message back, so
Cool.
Not 100% sure. Haven't had time to go find the proper link.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they've probably posted it all over their, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So if you guys are looking for it, it should be easy to find because they usually advertise that stuff pretty well. So cross your fingers.
Yep. You back, Dills?
Yeah. Is that working?
Kind of.
Seems to be.
You're frozen.
I can hear you though.
Yeah. You sound good.
Okay.
You're just
Well.
pixely.
All right.
This has
Maybe I'll
been
just
the month of Skype issues.
Yeah,
I know.
Like,
It's been terrible.
I had my resource monitor open the other day when I was using Skype, and it was like chilling out, and I've been keeping it open, and sometimes it just like goes crazy. It's just like, how much network do you need, Skype, and how much CPU do you need? 'Cause
Skype
it's
needs
pissing me off.
everything.
Yeah. I kind of want to use other programs right now too.
Yeah. Chat room, by the way, Jocelyn is confirming that the video is up. It went back up 4 hours ago on the YouTube.
Oh, cool.
So,
So check out the YouTubes, people.
yeah. Let's talk about the kind of small, I wouldn't say impactful, but fun patch that just went up. The Winter Veil patch.
I'm so excited for this. This is what I wanted so badly last year because like I just want them to do holidays in Hearthstone in general because holidays in WoW have been a thing forever. So this patch, I was so excited. I don't know if you don't have it actually up, but the card back for this is probably my favorite Hearthstone card back ever. Like I might just use it all year long because it looks amazing. So cool. Especially, I don't know if you noticed, but they had posted, I think it was either on Hearthhead or Hearthpwn, probably both, the animated version, and it's like a snow globe with like the snow's falling. I'm just like, oh, Hearthstone, you get me.
So it's a snow
So
globe
get me.
doing what snow globes do.
Yes, exactly, but on a Hearthstone card.
Yeah, no, it's festive as another four-letter word that I'm not going to say, so we can keep this clean.
You know what? Bah humbug this card back. I'm never going to use it. Never.
I'll use it twice
I'm
as long
just kidding.
just to make up for you.
Do we know how the hell we get it? Because it says like by celebrating Winter Veil, but
I have
what
a-
I'm
does that
pretty sure
mean?
it's just
I have a
it's
feeling
the
if you
same sort of
log
thing
in.
because there was celebrating a couple of like the anniversaries in
It's just
Warcraft
logging
and stuff
in
like that.
during
It's
it, right?
logging in
Yeah.
during it, yeah. So probably after.
I was kind of hoping we'd have like an event, you
Wednesday?
know, and like
Yeah.
some like we'd have to beat a snowman in PVE or something like that.
Maybe it'll be a
That'd be
brawl.
awesome.
Maybe we'll
knows?
have a Winter Veil brawl this week, and if you go in and play the brawl, you'll end up with the card back.
What if we?
I hope we get it before the 14th because that is the start of the 12 Dills of Christmas,
And
and
I-
I really want to use this on my stream every single day.
We need to, you need to tell us what that is maybe at the end of the show because I saw that and I saw Ashley's post and I was like, what is this? We
It's the
get
12 Dills of
12
Christmas.
dills?
Wait, you don't celebrate that?
Tell me the first day isn't like 12 shots of whiskey.
No.
Okay.
Whoa. Hold
No,
on.
the first day has
That's
to
the
be one
12th day,
thing.
Gary.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you do one thing on day one. Jeez.
No.
You
The
never
first
heard the
day-
song?
The first day is a partridge in a pear tree. So
Yeah.
we're just going to drink some pear cider, and we're going to try to make some sort of a partridge deck. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll
Very
see.
cool.
Anything that vaguely resembles a bird will be included in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Angry chickens.
the best day, of course, will be the 21st, which is the 8 dills of milking. And so, or eight milks a shaken. So that's going to be all
there you
milkshake deck all day.
Nice.
Eight
and White
milks
Russians.
a shaken. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's pretty
8
fantastic.
milks a shaken. Yeah. Looking forward to that. And on the 19th, which is the 6 geese a laying, I will be on Ashley's stream. We'll be having Grey Goose candy cane cocktails and making a gingerbread house, apparently. So,
That sounds amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so good.
looking forward to that.
That sounds wonderful. Well,
So, I was
Winter-
just kidding with my bah humbug. I'm going to use the hell out of this.
Gotcha.
Nice.
As soon as I get it.
well,
I just have one more question. Hachikumo in the chat room brought this up. On the last day, do you have to do like the 12 and then the 11, then the 10 all the way down? Because that could
Oh,
get
hell no.
messy.
No way. Screw that. No. We're not trying to die on
Yeah.
Christmas Day. We're trying to just have a fun time on our stream.
All right.
that's wonderful. So the Winter Veil will apparently be starting this Wednesday, December 9th. And Jocelyn, I'm glad you brought up brawls because I don't have a graphic handy, but a bunch of brawl chalkboard images have been data mined, and a bunch of them look very Christmas themed.
Nice.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we had multiple Winter Veil themed brawls between Wednesday and Christmas.
Oh, that's going to be so good. I can't wait. I love the crap out of Christmas. Christmas is like my favorite time of year. I want to do all the Christmas things. So if brawls are Christmas, I'm just going to brawl everywhere all the time.
Oh, you reminded me. I completely forgot to remind folks that I have a fireside going on this weekend where they can. We're doing a toy drive, so folks
Nice.
should come by It's in Orlando, and it's at meetup.com/Florida Fireside for information.
People will be brawling there, Joss. You should show
Oh
up.
yeah.
Oh,
I
we
should
will be
totally go to
brawling.
Florida just to brawl.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, I'm here. Is this the brawl? I'm here to brawl.
They said there would be Christmas, so I had to appear.
you have your fists taped up with very festive fighting tape. Like, I'm here to brawl. Let's do this.
Ribbon everywhere, ribbons and bows. Oh, this could be so good.
Oh, wonderful. But yeah, it looks like some of the game boards are getting a Christmas makeover. They're getting snowmen and snow and ribbons and bows and all kinds of other crap. If I had prepared, I would have come up with a rhyme for this, but I didn't, and I'm not. So
I love the stocking, the little horde stocking with the candy canes in it.
it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. Where's the Alliance stocking? Horde bias.
Well, I'm
Clear
pretty sure
horde
that's
bias.
probably on the Orgrimmar map. There might be Alliance stockings on the front of the chapel in Stormwind or something like that. And then you can like knock them down and be like, ha, stupid Alliance.
I mean, that's pretty mean-spirited, Jocelyn, for someone who loves Christmas as much as you claim to love Christmas. So
See, I'm so torn because I love Christmas, but I hate Alliance. And I've been PvPing a lot lately.
It's really
so I'm
hard,
just
yeah.
I know. Like, how do you reconcile
it.
that? I don't know.
get it. Yeah.
I don't know. And especially when the whole point of that Hearthstone board is actually to just wreck Stormwind. Like that's it would fit the theme. It's not me. It's clearly Hearthstone that just hates Alliance.
I saw some comments just on the other stuff that's in this patch. People were like, how come you get Love in the Air for January? And I was like, yeah, well, you get it in February, dummies.
Then you can use it in February. yeah.
Like, you get it for rank 20 in January, so you have it in February.
Yep.
Settle down, people.
yeah, they previewed a ton of card backs.
Yeah, 4 of them, right?
Or yeah.
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 There was Winter Veil,
Shaman
the
Thrall.
December.
Love and Tauren Thunderbluff.
Yeah.
My
I think
other
they
one-
really wanted to announce like Love is in the Air, and they were just like, well, you can get other stuff before you can get that, so we better just tell everybody about everything
Yeah.
between now and
I like
February.
this, though. Yeah, tell us about all the stuff. Tell us about
Yeah.
what's coming up like months from now. I like it.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
this is all pretty minor too. It's not like we're getting new cards or a new mode or anything like that. It's just a couple card backs, and I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Valentine's themed board.
that'd be cool, yeah.
Come Love is in the Air.
That's the
The
thing.
important
I
thing,
really
though-
hope they're going to skin just all of the boards for all of the WoW holidays from now on. That would be really cool.
I'd be down for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest issue for a lot of people was they fixed the Raptor bug. Raptor bug's
Yes.
fixed.
Yeah,
So no more game crashes or client freezes or whatever it was when people play Raptor, which apparently was like some tactic people were using. I just thought it was totally random and weird, but all right.
Well,
it's
you know,
gone now.
people will take advantage of whatever they can. And
Yeah,
actually,
no, absolutely. If someone
Yeah.
knows how to like recreate that bug, they will do it. for sure.
yeah. So I think I actually went up against 3 different Raptor rogues on ladder today. So they're back. If they
Oh, they're
if
in there for sure.
Anyway,
yeah.
they're a thing.
I'm actually not that scared of them though because they just don't have that much burst damage. If you can kill them before they like lock up some unkillable board, then
Mhm.
you're fine. So it's just about being like really aggressive with them. I think.
Yeah.
well, we also live in a world where paladins can summon 7 Murlocs from the grave and just kill you in a single turn. So our expectations for burst damage is a little skewed right now.
That's very true. That's very true. But you know, like an aggro deck will just dominate those Raptor rogues because they don't have
Yeah.
all the big AOE and burst damage that the rogues used to. Like I still think Oil Rogue is probably the better deck. Honestly. But
I agree.
Yeah.
Oil Rogue's still really good, man. I think
but it's not the new
perfectly fine
shiny.
deck.
So
Yeah. Everyone wants the new shiny.
yeah, totally.
Then
I-
they should play Murlocs.
And then they can really shine them up with golden tiny fins.
Exactly. I feel like you guys don't understand the level of cuteness that is that card.
Oh,
I do
under-
because I watched. I think Rekful did it, and Raynad, and like I think a bunch of streamers were all.
So
crafting.
I'm in really great
Well, you're
company.
in great
then.
company, exactly. Yeah, You're in golden tiny fin. company.
Raynad and Reckful. That's awesome.
And Jocelyn. Just
Yeah. I'm gonna
yeah.
go. I'm gonna go disenchant those.
That's what
I'll
I think.
be right
When
back.
I think Jocelyn, I think Wreckful.
Ugh. Damn it! Totally just killed that card for me, guys.
I'm sorry, just because other people have it now. Oh no, you really are the 1%. Like I want things no one else can have.
Okay, that is not what I said.
I don't know. I could twist things.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited for Christmas. Yay, Christmas.
It's a coming.
Well, let's before we get into strategies, let's thank our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC for supporting the show. If you enjoy the show, if you like what we're doing, head on over there, check it out. Think about, I don't know, throw us a quarter or two, maybe $1, maybe $2 if you're feeling nuts.
Whoa, settle down now.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. You got to dress like 90s era Batman, though, if you're going to make that quote. So, thanks to the patrons, though. We're doing an extra episode a month for the call-in show. We're doing an extra episode a week, doing the Brawl episodes. You guys are crazy. So this week we wanted to thank Llewellyn C. I apologize for the pronunciation of your name. Also, thank you to Christopher G., Brian G., Justin R. Young, holy crap, look at that, and Derek R. So
I think the first name is Llewellyn, I'm going to guess.
Llewellyn, okay.
Llewellyn.
I have never seen that name written. I'm sorry.
It's like a name you hear, but yeah. I think my mom has a friend named Llewellyn.
I can't say I've heard it either. So props on a very unique name.
It's a cool name.
As someone with the last name Weinzierl, I feel you.
Yeah, you appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I really do. So let's get into this week's strategy.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
I shouldn't have made this graphic that podcast listeners can't see. I shouldn't have named it Murloc decks because there's a non-Murloc deck in here. Anyway, I'm dumb. Ignore me. This week we're going to be talking about League of Explorers Week 3 decks, and mostly it's like Sir Finley just jammed into anything you can think of. Mostly Shaman decks because they have a terrible, god-awful hero power that should have been killed with a, I don't know, like a hose a while ago.
I actually chucked the Sideshow Spell Eater for the Sir Finley in that Reno lock.
Okay.
Because I think it was like better to rather than like steal the other guys, because if you're playing against a Warlock, that sucks.
Yep.
So just pick one that is better than whatever. When you're done tapping, you just pick one of 3. It's like, it's awesome. So yeah, he's in like tons of weird decks. It's really, really cool. You like never know when he's coming, and then it just alters the game completely.
I agree, man. I really dig Finley, and not just because I want to like Shaman and used to, and just haven't been able to find the love again. But he's fantastic in Shaman, but he's brought a lot to the game. It's really insane to think about the combinations you can get and the effects that you can have on the game when you can grab someone else's hero power, with a card that is so playable. Now, Sideshow Spell Eater we have had, so it has been possible to have a hero power that was not yours. But Finley, I think, is just such a highly playable card. He's a 1/3 for 1.
Yeah.
And he gives you your choice. Take a pick. I have 3 random. He just like opens his little Murloc trench coat, and he's got 3 hero powers just hanging there.
It's really hard to get a bad one, because if you are Shaman, that's already one of the bad ones, right? And then you like the only other 2 like really bad ones are Warrior and Priest most of the time for you. So all the other options are going to be better.
And Priest isn't even like that terrible, because it gives you one of the things that Shaman is sorely lacking, which is healing.
Yeah.
So you can heal yourself, or you can keep things on board for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, if you're playing a burst shaman, probably not that great. But if you're playing a mid-range or board controller shaman, that'll be fine. Or even the Murlocs that buff the other Murlocs, right? Suddenly you can heal the buffed Murlocs.
But if you're playing a burst shaman, you have a 1 in 3 chance of finding a halfway decent hero power for what you're trying to accomplish. You could get mage.
4 of them do damage to the face if you get them, right?
Yep.
So they either ping for 1 or they're hunter and they ping for 2.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Well, and so many things. Like, I mean, I think I ended up with the Druid hero power a couple times. I ended up with the Warlock hero power, and either one of those things just combo so well. I mean, you have like card draw for days with your Warlock hero power on Shaman, which is something that, especially if you're playing the Murloc deck, like you're playing a lot of cards every turn. So if you have a way to refill your hand, so powerful, so powerful. And then if you've got your Doomhammer and then you can hero power on top of that, you're hitting for 6 every turn instead of 4. You know, hero power in with your Rockbiter on your Doomhammer and just like kill everything, just everything.
I will say, don't pick rogue hero power and if you are playing the double Doomhammer deck.
Yeah.
Because it becomes completely useless once you draw the Doomhammer. It replaces your Doomhammer. It does not add on to your Doomhammer.
I don't care for that at all. I'd rather have a heal personally.
Oh yeah, like that's so. If you're playing board control-ish or you don't have double Doomhammer, maybe you run 1, then that's fine because it's more mana efficient over turns, right? You get 2 damage per 2 mana, but it's just really sucks when you do draw that Doomhammer. So I learned the hard way, man, because I was looking at like Warrior and Paladin, and I was like, nah, I'd rather have the dagger. And then I drew Doomhammer like the very next turn. I was like, whoops, should have thought about that.
Yeah, well, that's part of the fun of new cards. Actually
totally.
having those learning experiences. Now, granted, if you lost that game, probably not that fun, but
I learned something. Yeah.
I feel like I learned something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I dropped 3 decks in here. We've got an aggro shaman running Sir Finley. I have a Kalento deck list in here just because this actually has some of the newer cards and it's kind of different. However, I have had a terrible go with this deck. I have it in here as an example. I strongly disagree with some of the card choices. If you're Kalento, this deck is probably amazing. If you're me, it's the worst thing you've tried since Jocelyn watched you draw crap after crap after crap 7 games in a row trying Mech Mage for the first time. So,
yeah, that was pretty terrible.
This deck can draw terribly.
It does have weird choices, like Elemental Destruction. Any type of aggro deck is just generally bad.
I don't understand the purpose of it at all.
Because no one understands Kalento except Kalento.
It's the only way to come back, I think. Like, if you fall behind, I think what he's looking for is, like, maybe he'll wait, and then he'll try to do, like, Elemental Destruction and Fell Spirit or something on the same, Feral Spirit on the same turn, then Lava Shock those overloads away on the next turn. Something like that. That's what it looks like to me. But that's going to take a lot of planning and foresight, and that's why I think he probably does well with this deck, and most people won't.
Yeah, and with as much draw as it has, it runs 2 Ancestral Knowledges. It also runs a 1 Mana Tide Totem. I'm surprised the need for 2 Elemental Destructions because it is such a dead card when you don't have the other proper pieces to use with it. So I don't know. I'm very confused by it. Honestly, we all talked before the show, and we think if you want to do aggro shaman, you should probably just run Luffy's list, which we talked about last time on the last Prime episode of the Angry Chicken, and just throw in Sir Finley because he works wonderfully.
Yeah, like the Rainad one I was using, I think is actually not as good as the Luffy one is now. Like, maybe they were equal before when they both came out, but I really think this Luffy one has outpaced it with some of the changes that have been made and just what other people are tending to play more often. This one's going to get the job done, I think, more often than the mech-based one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've seen a lot of mech shamans on my ladder, though, this week. Have you guys been running into them?
Mech shaman?
I was playing one. Yeah, well, it's the aggro mech shaman. It's not like the old, like the Fell Reaver one.
Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. New, what do we call it? Like Mech Shaman 2.0?
I guess it's
Like-
burst.
I guess,
it's
yeah.
burst mech shaman.
League
It's like
of
a
Explorers.
combination of mechs and overload.
Can we call him like Kaboom Shaman?
It's
Sure. Kaboom shaman it is.
Kaboom Shaman.
It's like Face Mech Shaman. I don't know. It's League of Explorers Mech Shaman.
right.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. But you could chuck in Sir Finley in that deck too, and that one's still fine. I just think this one is like slightly above. It's 2 versions of a deck that's kind of doing the same thing, just going about it a different way.
Yeah. But forget all that. Let's talk about the fun decks. Let's talk about Murloc Shaman real quick because, I know Jocelyn already probably talked enough. You know what? Never mind. We don't need to because Jocelyn already covered it. You just craft a golden tiny fin and you win.
Exactly.
That's actually
Because
how
no one
the-
ever wants to kill him, no matter how buffed he gets. That's a lie. People kill him really, really quickly.
Yeah, they
and it
kill him
makes
all
me
the
sad.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You play him turn 1, and then you just spam well played and wait for them to concede, right?
And then they just go, he's so adorable. I'm never going to be able to kill him. And yeah, concede. Done.
But you can do the Tide Caller turn 1, Tide Caller into Murloc Tinyfin Dream, where you get the 2-1. You're already starting to buff your Tide Caller, and you have the 1-1 on board.
Yeah.
The
I
very
think
first.
he has a lot of uses. There's a lot of times where just having that 0 mana Murloc, because just having more Murlocs buffs your Murloc. So why wouldn't you Murloc?
Yeah, I the very first time I tried this deck, I got the coin, and my opening hand had a Tide Caller and both Tiny Fins. So I went all in just because why wouldn't you? And,
Exactly.
I Tide Collared and with the coin or no, I coined. So
You don't need the coin.
No,
if
it
you
wouldn't
got
have
the
been.
Tinyfin.
No, I'm trying to
There's
think.
0, man.
What was it?
No, but there was another one drop you probably
They
got
got
because I think
built-in-
I
Oh,
got that one.
no,
too,
you know what
yeah.
it was? You know what it was? It was I played Tide Caller, I dropped both Tiny Fins, and then on the next turn I coined out my War Leader. That's what it was.
Yeah,
And
see,
it was-
there you go.
that's
It was just stupid. Is
Yeah.
what it was. I haven't had that perfect
And then you
draw
have
since.
like a Murkai that you throw down, and then you go, every fin is awesome, and then you just win.
Pretty much.
Tell me how many times you've actually been able to play this card, because I'm curious. Like I looked at it and I was like, this is so good. How often is it actually going to happen? Like,
I would say it probably happens to finish the game by turn 5 or 6, a third of my games, I think.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it happens more often than you would think.
Because if you're doing it on turn 5, like I guess my thing was always like, I looked at this card and I was like, if I'm doing it on turn 5, why aren't I just bloodlusting? Because that's 5 mana, and I get +3 attack on all my things.
That's
so like
true.
when I looked at the card, I was like, unless I'm pushing to late game with this card, like what is the advantage here? Like first, I need to have at least 2 Murlocs to make it cost as much as Bloodlust, and then if I have 3, then it's 1 cheaper, but it's like the same exact damage, right? Kind of thing, because it's +2 on 3 minions.
Yeah.
Instead of +3 on 2.
On 2 minions,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like I look
The
at it,
thing
and I'm
is-
like, I want to know how often this works, because I was struggling with it.
Well, and the thing is too, like where Bloodlust is a 1-turn buff, this is persistent and it buffs the health as well. So it can help you to kind of regain that board control, kill off stuff. Like it's not necessarily only used to end the game. You can also use it to just generally buff your minions, and that helps even more in the Murloc decks, because then your Murlocs actually stick around, and then you can, kind of snowball from there. So in some cases, it's been like I've got, some 2-1s and some 1-1s, and then all of a sudden I have like 3-4s, and it just makes your whole board so much harder to deal with, and then usually you can go in a turn or 2 later. So that persistent buff and the buff to health is, I think, really what helps to kind of get ahead on tempo almost. Like there's more than one way to play this deck. It's not just full on face.
Yeah. It just looks so face oriented when you look at this particular deck. I kind of was thinking that Everything is Awesome would maybe even be better suited to like a control deck with a smattering of warlocks that buff each other, right? So like the
Murlocs,
the
you mean?
Cold Light
Warlocks?
Seer.
All those
Or,
warlocks,
sorry, warlocks,
buffing each
yeah,
other.
warlocks that buff each other. But like the Cold Light Seer and the War Leader, and some of the kind of like sticky, like have some sticky warlock or Murlocs, and then use that more as like a way to like trade more efficiently and stuff like that, rather than, because again, it's like this. I looked at this deck and I was like, yeah, aggro deck, but I should just be playing Bloodlust there.
Yeah, and
instead
see,
of
this is the
everything.
thing. It gives you that versatility to either use it for like that last lethal push, or you can use it to gain board control again, or it's a lot more versatile than just a straight up Bloodlust. So that's kind of why I like this deck, is that it's not just straight up face. You have the ability to just overwhelm and go face if that's the way your draw happens, or you can, do a more tempo thing, you can do a control thing. Like it's a really not obvious versatile deck. I've had so much fun with it. Like I was having a blast on stream today. It was just awesome. I think I ended up playing like, I don't even, what did I say? Like, I think I played like 13 or 14 games with this deck, and I had fun the whole time. I can't remember the last time I had that much fun with a deck in Hearthstone.
Yeah, I looked at this deck and I just was like, are you playing exactly this one? This Force?
No, I did make a couple changes.
Okay.
I took out one lightning bolt, I think, in favor of a lightning storm. Because
I like that.
Yeah, because I just found like I didn't have any AoE, and that was really hurting me. So I picked Lightning Storm, because then taking out one overload card, I still had another overload card, because you do have the Trogs in this deck. So you do want to have a couple of different activators for them in case that ends up being your opening. Because I've had Trog into the Axe a couple of times, and that was a really strong opener as well. I also took out one of the Grimscale Oracles in favor of a Cold Light Oracle, because I found if I didn't get Finley out and if I didn't have Life Tap, then I was running out of cards really quickly.
Yeah,
so
the only
just
other way is Siltfin, pretty much. And even then, I would maybe just run Cult Master instead of Siltfin. But I guess it's a Murloc, so that. Yeah.
There are
exactly.
so
Like,
many
and that's the thing. I was
Murlocs in
trying
this
really
deck.
hard to stick with the Murloc theme of the deck. I didn't want to, because I mean, there were a couple people saying, "Oh, Totem Golem's so powerful." It totally is, and I know it's a really great card and a really great play, but I was trying to stick to the Murloc theme, and I've actually enjoyed it a lot more than kind of trying to mix it up and getting a little bit too vague with what you're trying to do with the deck. So sticking with Murlocs, I think, was a better choice. So
I don't think Everything is Awesome is I don't think it can work without.
It wouldn't be playable if you
this amount of Murlocs. There's a reason.
Yeah.
I know, Dills, you were talking about earlier in the show how you don't like these type of decks that just run nothing but Murlocs. But every fin is awesome, is pointless without a gross excess of Murlocs.
Absolutely. No, that's like I was talking about this on my stream the other day, that one of the issues some people have when they do make a theme deck is that they go so hard into the theme that it weakens the deck overall, because the theme itself doesn't work alone. Like, you still need some cards that you don't have room for if you go like all in on that. Like, so all in on pirates, you start running some bad pirates, and things like that. But I think if you are going to run everything is awesome, like, you pretty much have to commit to Murlocs. Like, you can't halfway that, and some cards are going to do that when you do a theme deck. Some cards are going to kind of pigeonhole you into that. So, man, I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on. Pigeon you hole? Did I really just say that?
Pigeon you hole all the warlocks.
Pigeonhole, why not?
Pigeonhole you. Damn it.
All the sticky warlocks.
Yeah.
I'm like dyslexic with words all of a sudden. I don't know what's happening. Put them in the wrong order. Murlocs and warlocks, they're all the same thing.
I did really like Forzen's kind of mix of overload and taking advantage of some of those overload cards with all of the Murlocs. So when I did take things in and out, I tried to keep that ratio. I didn't want to go too far into overload and take out too many Murlocs. Yeah. So when I swapped them, I kind of did a 1-for-1 overload and 1-for-1 with the Murloc, and it made a big difference. I really, really love this deck.
I do think there's got to be a version where you go a little less Murloc and a little more overload opener, and then you just run Bloodlust instead of every fin, and it's kind of a much more aggro version. It doesn't have a late game plan, but
yeah, you probably could take out your tiny fins
there. Yeah,
and then
similar to what the mech did with the overload, like mech plus overload. I bet you could kind of do a Murloc overload shaman too, and it would work out okay.
Yeah, you could probably take out your every fin, put into Bloodlust, take out your tiny fins, and put in some early overload. Would probably also be pretty viable, but
and the
less
totem
fun.
Golems and stuff like that.
Also, drawing
and whatchamacallit, the 5 damage one, the burst, the lava burst. Yeah.
Also, drawing Tiny Fin late is a great enabler for every fin. Is awesome because you can play. You can play it and discount every fin as you play Tiny Fins out of your hand because it's not costing any mana to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And then you buff them.
And then you buff them. They're 3/3s. Especially then if you also can play Old Murkai in the same turn, then, because they also enable him because he gets the buff for however many other Murlocs you have, and he has charge. So there's a whole bunch of different, basically your Tiny Fins are activators. They're not meant to be played, alone.
You don't just drop them and just hit them 30
No, you
times
don't
with your
just
tiny
you
fin?
don't.
Oh.
No, you don't just leave your tiny fins to die. That's so cruel.
They are the I like the Tiny Fins in this deck quite a bit. Again, all because of every fin is awesome. Without that card, this whole archetype just, I think, falls apart and is pointless. Like you said, Dills, why not just run Bloodlust? Well, at that point, why even run Murlocs?
Yeah, and Murloc decks before were starting to cut things like Grimscale Oracle and stuff because they just are so weak, And you saw a lot of they would have leper gnomes and then this kind of Murloc base and like Haunted Creeper and sticky minions and stuff like that. And that was how they won, with like flame tongues on these stickier small minions, and then the Murlocs would come in. But now with a card like Every Fin is awesome. It's like, no, this is clearly what we do now. We just spam the Murlocs. That's back.
Pretty much. In Shaman, anyway.
Yes.
On our next deck, Savita's Murloc Paladin, we don't just spam Murloc. We have a kind of, like I said earlier, a bit of a mid-rangey Paladin base, and then it's this nice garnish of Murlocs. Just enough Murlocs to make sure that your any fin can happen is the most ridiculous burst damage you've ever seen out of a Paladin.
Yes. Paladins are known for not having burst damage. That is been the thing forever. Even as they were incredibly overpowered with the secrets and whatever, all that stuff, and it was annoying and aggro, they still weren't a deck that was known for a giant burst turn, and now they have it. So Blizzard loves Paladins. I don't know what's going on. Every single time we get new cards, it's like, hey, guess who got really good again? Paladin.
It's the opposite of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
They were in such a bad
Hearthstone too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They were in such a bad place, and it's like, Blizzard made the decisions for the next few expansions and were like, man, we gotta buff Pallies, and then they were like, buff. Oh no, stop, no, like we've had enough.
But they're not doing that. They're not stopping. They're like, oh yeah,
I know,
more.
that's why
Keep it
I think
coming. Anything can
next
happen.
time we've hit the plans that were made when Paladin was terrible. This was kind of, I think, the last thing that they had planned when that was happening. And so now the next expansion or the next adventure, we're gonna see them go, okay, whoa, enough. No more.
See,
Watch. The next one, they're gonna get like a pyroblast or something crazy. Like,
you want burst? Here's your burst. Light bolt to the face or something. I don't even know.
it's just called For the Light.
For the
yeah.
light.
And it hits you for 10 damage for 2 mana.
Just hits you for 30 damage. They're like,
just kills you.
yeah, just done.
Turn 10, 30 damage done.
Yeah.
They'll say like, if you have 4 recruits on board, deal 30 damage to the opponent's face. You're like,
To
oh,
the face,
cool.
yeah.
Muster 1+1, kill you.
Okay, all right. Talking you off the crazy ledge. In Serious Town, I'm really okay with this though, because again, kind of harkening back to what Brode was saying, it's like not that anyone's saying that this is necessarily power creep. I'm not sure what you would compare anything can happen to say that it's power creep. It's like idea creep. It's like this idea just blows my mind. But this is not an archetype that existed in Pally before this. We didn't have this type of Paladin deck at all. Like, people were trying to make Murlocs work when Murloc Knight came out, and everyone just realized, wait, I just need Murloc Knight. Why am I bothering with the rest of these? And now we have Murloc Paladins, which aren't running Murloc Knight, and are wonderful.
Yeah. I like the idea of a lot more classes having a 10 mana card that's like really
Playable.
crazy what it does, but you have to build a deck kind of built to make it work. So we don't have that many that have it yet, but a few have like really cool ones. Mind Control is awesome. Pyroblast is awesome. These are awesome cards. And now Paladin has one. I want every class to have one, so everyone can kind of do some crazy late game thing.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see that as well. Except mages.
It makes more control decks viable, right? And more different types of archetypes. That's what we want, I think, most of us.
Yeah.
So.
These kind of cards have to be. If you were to make more cards like this, that you pay 10 mana, you have kind of a built-in combination of something, that once you built around the card, that's gonna be tough to balance, especially with a card like Thorson in the mix.
Yeah, but Thorson and these cards like don't mix really, right? Because that's the whole point of it. It's like you don't see people like playing Thor. Like I guess you see people playing Thorson. No, because if they run Pyroblast, like the Thorson really affects like a bunch of cheap cards, So these big giant cards kind of take out the Thorson as like the great enabler and just give you, no, this card does it, this one card. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're balancing a really strong turn 10 effect, if it's, you have to consider, wait, with this card, it could happen on 9.
Oh, yeah, if it happened on 9, what would
exactly.
Like, would that be catastrophic for the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And you don't necessarily want to run Thorson here because he's going to discount my Murlocs that are already dirt cheap. Who really gives a crap?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a discounted Sludge Belcher, I guess, but
like think about like the great combos that everyone's people have been whining about Force Roar for kind of a long time, and I think Force Roar is fine. It's just it's powerful, but Druid hasn't like been at the top forever. Like they've been a good deck for a really long time, but it's a deck that you can definitely beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that 9 mana combo that takes 2 cards, right? So then you've got like these 10 mana combos that do like way more, and it's not even a combo; it's 1 card. But I have to have played these Murlocs and had them die. That's the combo aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
And so like, Druid having that one like simple 2 card combo is really cool. But like, I want all the classes to have that type of thing, have that burst potential, have that ability to build a really weird looking deck that mixes Murlocs with equality. Like I don't know, it's just weird stuff. Man.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I really dig that this exists. I know we were talking again at the beginning of this conversation, like, oh God, Paladin every time. But really, my if I have a complaint there, it's that I would like more cards to get introduced to other classes so that other classes have as many options as far as viable archetypes as Paladin does. But I don't necessarily want them to stop introducing cards that give us new type of archetypes, even if it's for a class like Paladin that aren't really hurting for different ways to play.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys play with this deck much?
Yes, I think this is my new favorite deck.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing when you actually get that Anyfin is awesome turn off. The weird thing is that it runs 2, and a lot of people in my chat when they're watching me play it were like, I can't believe you'd run 2 of this card. Like, that makes no sense. But you have to draw it. It's so important. That's how you win, right? So you have to, and even if you draw it early, yes, that kind of sucks. It's still just that important to the deck that you just need to run 2 of these. A couple of weird things happen when you play this deck. Anything can happen. Summons Murlocs that died this game, not your Murlocs. So, and not like if the other guy plays it, it's not just his Murlocs. So I had a game where the guy was like, "Oh, I don't think he can burst me from here," and then he played it, and I was like, "Oh wait, I played 2 war leaders earlier in the game. Damn it!" Like,
Yeah,
he could
mirror,
totally kill me.
the mirror matchup is really funky.
Yeah, it's super weird. You're basically just like figuring out who, like, you kind of got to hold back your Murlocs and then try to like dump them all at once and have them die. And I don't know.
It's funny too, because imagine just for a moment, let me paint a picture for you. It's really specific, but I like the idea of the outcome. Imagine you're going to a tournament where sideboarding is allowed, and you really just don't want to play Murloc Paladin, but you know everyone and their mother's going to be playing it. You just tech in one anything can happen into your like regular, completely non-Murloc mid-range Paladin to take advantage of your opponent's Murloc Paladin deck.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to seeing these mirror matches in tournaments, by the way, because it is good. I was trying to wrap my head around it. Like, how do I make sure that he can't combo me before I combo him? But I need to play these Murlocs, or else I have no way to do it. Like, I want to see how the pros handle this, because I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, I guess I hold them, but no, but then I can't do it. And then I play them, and then he kills them, and then he could, like, yes, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to the, those type of standoffs where so many Murlocs have died on both sides of the fence that they go to cast it, and the caster's just like, is he going to get Murk-Eye? Too many have died. He's not guaranteed to get Murk-Eye. Is he going to get it? Oh, my God, he got it. Yeah.
Which is the reason that when you look at this deck, it doesn't run a bunch of Murlocs, because it really specifically needs to make sure that it pulls Murk-Eye and Bluegill Warriors with the war leaders. So if you run all the other Murlocs, you gimp your combos.
Yep.
It's a super weird and non-intuitive deck to build, and I'm impressed that people found it so quickly. That shows like how good some of these people are at figuring this stuff out.
Yep. Anyway, again, we got links to all of these in the show notes, so if you're listening to the podcast, they should be up. Head on over to amove.tv/TAC and check them out. Before we move into the crazy game stories, we do want to thank our sponsors, Squarespace.com, for sponsoring this episode of The Angry Chicken. You can use the code TAC to get 10% off of your order, and go build yourself a perfectly fine, gorgeous website. That's what we do for Amove TV. My portfolio website is built on Squarespace. And we actually got a listener that wrote in because their wife used our code and made her website. She's apparently an illustrator, and this is her first professional website. And I think it looks totally great. So if anyone wants to see Shane's wife, he didn't put his wife's name in the email, check out her illustration portfolio. Everyone can check out tinyburrowillustrations.com because it was built on Squarespace using the TAC code. You go, listener. You go.
Sweet. That's awesome. I just was looking at it. It looks amazing.
Yeah. It looks
I want to buy whatever they sell. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
I want a adorable drawing of a raccoon. That's
hell yeah. Who doesn't?
I've walked away.
I like the deer with the bird on his nose.
Awesome. Well, let's take a crazy game story.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
Send your crazy game stories over to us at tacpodcast@gmail.com. Holy crap, what is this name? Jocelyn, you are picking this stuff on purpose so that I cannot pronounce it.
Yep.
Colonel Manischewitz wrote in and said, side note from Jocelyn, I've been misspelling Murloc wrong forever.
I totally
Hey, what were you
have.
doing? Were you
Putting a K on the end. Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Oh, this is from you, Joss.
No, this is
Yeah,
actually
she
me.
put a side
I
note
put
in,
the
yes.
side note
Ah.
in saying, yeah, I've been
You
spelling
should put that in
Murloc
your
wrong
color
forever.
so we
Yeah.
got that.
Ah, yeah. I'm like, I thought this was like you and Manischewitz were talking back and forth, and
No.
and
that's
they
just a
realized
side
that
note
Oh yeah,
they've
they hang
been-
all the
Yeah.
time. They're best friends.
I don't. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so you're putting a K
They're
at
the
the
Colonel.
end. Hey, yeah, I think that's okay because I mean, well, maybe not because you played WoW, so never mind. I don't think that's okay. I was gonna say
Yeah,
if all
what the
you
hell,
played
Jocelyn?
is if
I
all
don't know.
you have played is Hearthstone and all you've done is look at like clever Murloc Warlock deck title names, then I could see how you made this mistake.
Well, here's the thing. At the bottom of every single Murloc, it literally says the word Murloc.
I know, but I literally until today, I didn't play Murloc decks.
You just kind of like
I
just
avoided them like the
gazed
plague.
down without reading it and just said, yeah, that says Murloc down there. I know it says Murloc.
I actually never built a Murloc deck by looking at the thing at the bottom either. I played every card in the game, and then once I learned which ones made the noise, that's how I figured out which ones were Murlocs, and that's how I learned how to build a Murloc
when you build
deck.
a Murloc deck, don't you go down to the bottom and type in Murloc?
No, man.
So really?
I just
That's the
keep. I'm
thing,
kidding.
I never
I'm
you
did
just
I'm
scroll
making
through
a
all the
joke.
cards that aren't Murlocs while you're trying to figure out which Murlocs to put in?
I'm making a joke, and you're ruining it. Thank you, Dills.
No, but I'm just trying to point out that I have this idea of Jocelyn typing in Murloc and being like, damn, why are they not
There's
showing
no
up?
Murlocs
There's a
in this
bug
game."
in this freaking like my collection is bugged, man. You're not showing me my Murlocs.
I know I
And then
have
she
them.
has to, like,
I have
scroll
every
through.
card in the game. Where's my Murlocs?
Yeah, I'm the 1%. I have Murlocs. I know I have Murlocs.
Beautiful.
I hate that
Beautiful.
1%.
Anyway, they write in. They say playing Murloc Paladin against Murloc Paladin. Okay, it's nice and themed today. I see. I am behind big time. He's got 24 health and I have 7, and I've already played an anti-heal bot to stay in the game. On turn 10, he plays Anyfin is awesome, and his board fills with Murlocs, including 2 Grimscale Oracles and 2 Murloc War Leaders, buffing each Murloc's attack by a total 6. But he doesn't have Old Murkai or a Bluegill Warrior on the board. I, however, have an Old Murkai in hand. I top deck a Bluegill Warrior and play both for lethal. Lesson here, don't play Anyfin is awesome in a mirror match if your charged Murlocs weren't killed yet.
That's why the mirror match is so weird, man.
Yep.
Murlocs affect each other, and it's bizarre.
It is weird. And also, there is scenarios, right, where if you both are playing Murlocs, that enough Murlocs have died that your charged Murlocs could have died, but you still not get them back because too many have died.
You just
Now
get
it's
all war leaders.
now it's a random chance. Yeah, you get all war leaders.
Yeah, you're like, my board's
Wow.
awesome, but I can't kill you. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
But when I was playing I had some times where I do the combo and I end up with double whatchamacallit, the legendary one, the Murkai, and and a whole bunch of war leaders, and I had like a single Murkai hit for like 22 or something like that. It's like the stuff that anything can
fun,
happen.
right?
That's all I'm saying. Anything can happen.
Anything can
Anything
happen.
can happen.
Yep. Let's take some emails.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, did you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
Send your emails to the same place, tacpodcast@gmail.com. Jesse writes in and says, on the most recent Prime episode, you guys were talking about the change in tournament formats, specifically the Blizzard change to go back to pick 4, ban 1. It made me think of an interesting variation on this format. What if, when the players were choosing their 4 decks, they chose one slot as mystery or unknown? Instead of revealing the class, the player would label it as unknown, leaving only 3 of their classes revealed. I think that this could afford an interesting sort of gamble in the ban choice. Do I ban the one class that's revealed and know my deck is horrible against, or do I ban the unknown, knowing that it theoretically could be any one of the 6 remaining classes? It would add a different level of strategy into ban choice, rather than everyone just auto-banning whatever class is deemed too aggro and OP at times, Secret Paladin, Zoo, Patron, etc. It might be a little difficult to keep the unknown choice a secret for more popular streamers, but the streamer could also use this to their advantage, hone their strategy with a sleeper class off stream, label it unknown, and hope that their opponent bans a known obvious choice. Either way, I think that it would definitely add some interesting decisions to the ban selection. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. And Jesse, I like the idea, but there's a huge hole in this logic, and it's that if you're playing in a tournament where there's any more than one stage of the tournament, if you play your secret class, it's no longer a secret to anyone else down the line. If you move from the round of 16 to the round of 8, everyone at the round of 8 now knows what your secret deck is.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I thought was it's such a cool idea, and I wish that there was a way to implement it where you didn't have to have those same 4 classes all the way through, I don't know how you would do it. You'd have to have so many decks prepared ahead of time to make it so your unknown was always unknown, and then it's how do tournament people even track that kind of stuff? Logistically, it would be really difficult, but I love the idea. Love it. I think it would be so cool.
If you always have to have 4 classes, that leaves 5.
Yeah.
So you could basically have a 5-stage tournament. You'd have to come with 9 prepared decks from
Yeah,
each
you have
classes.
to have like 9 decks for this to
Yeah.
all
That's-
be like something that would actually matter like deeper into the tournament, right? So
Yeah.
because you would look at the 3 they have and be like, okay, well we know he's played this, this, and this. We kind of know what those are. Like, it would just there'd have to be so many extra decks. I think though it's an interesting idea that would be cool for like a King of the Hill or something, like just a one-off show match, two players against each other, and they have a bunch of decks, and one of them's a secret deck. I think actually we have seen something like this. I thought maybe one of Amaz's tournaments at some point had some sort of secret deck that they could pull out, but it was one of those ones where rather than selecting a deck and then having it be like Conquest or King of the Hill or Last Man Standing, it was the one where you just select against, and you like I pick 1, 2, and 3, and then he picks 1, 2, and 3, and then they play each other, and then there was one extra deck, which was only used in like case of like tie-breaking situations.
Yeah, I think
that.
didn't one of the Pinnacles or multiple Pinnacles have something?
It was
like, something of
like
that nature.
Yeah.
I can't even remember now, but
Yeah. He's had some weird formats, but I do remember something about some sort of mystery deck type of thing, which was a cool idea, definitely.
That'd be interesting. You could do if you had a series that was nothing but show matches that had, you could still have a large series of games, but you wouldn't be able to have stages. Is basically what I'm saying. You wouldn't be able to have a traditional tournament bracket. But if you did just, for the next month, 3 days a week, we have this pro versus this pro and that pro versus that pro. And at the end, like almost like a bowling league or something, whoever has the most points, those are the 2 that go into the finals, and they can bring new decks to the finals so that nobody knows what decks are going in. So
the old King of the Hill things that Artosis and Doa were casting were exactly like that. It would have been perfect for that.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Cool
just
idea,
for the World Championship format, it's just kind of impossible to make this work, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Dill's next email.
This one comes from Jean Gabriel. He says, "Hey guys, you're awesome. What you do is awesome. You should feel awesome. Thanks."
Oh, I do.
Feel awesome
Thank you.
now.
Thank you very
Right
much.
on. I've found a great tool for making Hearthstone a lot easier. Not another overlay, but rather a child, preferably your own. Their young, fresh brains have incredible memory. Does he have a card that can remove this board? And they see the combos in your hand instantly. They also insta-calculate if you have lethal. You build the decks and plan out the match overall strategy, but for how to play this turn, they're great. For those that don't have one yet, they're easy and fun to craft, but they are expensive, so buy Nax first. I reckon you can buy one with gold, but I'm pretty sure that is illegal. P.S. Thank you, Blizzard, for not making violent animations in the game when the minions attack. Aw.
As an adopted child, I would argue that it's not necessarily legal, but it is. You can definitely buy a kid. So,
Yep. Not even on the black market. Just straight up.
it's just the byproduct of adoption is cost. So,
I just thought that this was super cute and made a really, really great point that we actually get this question a lot, whether it's on Twitter or emails, like, is Hearthstone a game that I can play with my kids? And absolutely, like, they don't have any kind of like blood, gore, crazy violence stuff when stuff is attacking. So it's absolutely something. And we have so many fans that are in the kind of like 4 to 10 range. And I mean, we got an email a couple months ago saying that their 8-year-old hit legend. Like, this is absolutely a kid-friendly game. So props to Blizzard for doing that.
I don't know, Jocelyn. I mean, that Entomb art, that's a really scary mummy. Do you want your kid having Entomb nightmares?
Well, I mean, come on. Ancient Egyptian history, that's a thing that you learn about mummies early on in school. I don't think that they're
okay. Better nightmare fodder within the context of a game. When I was a child, I had nightmares about the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. However,
that dude was scary though.
If I was a child playing Hearthstone, I would probably have nightmares about anything can happen lethals. So
Murlocs
just saying,
everywhere.
just get a little shell shocked from Hearthstone. So. No, this is great. Thank you, Jean Gabriel, for a very lighthearted and very heart-filled email. Jocelyn.
Last email.
Yeah.
This one comes to us from Gladstone. Says, "Hi guys. So with the Black Friday deals having come and gone, I couldn't help but notice that Hearthstone didn't even acknowledge the day. In fact, there's never been any sort of deal to speak of in regards to the game. As more expansions and adventures are released, how long do you think it will be until we start seeing discounts on older card packs and adventures? Love the show." So basically, I kind of put this in there to be a bit of a PSA, like having a discount, and I think we've talked about this a few times in a few different ways on the last couple shows, but having a discount on card packs or adventures in any way is kind of It really impacts the gameplay because of the dust system. It's not quite the same as having a discount on, say, a copy of Warcraft. You know, like you can buy Warcraft and that doesn't actually impact your game, whether you paid $60 for the expansion or whether you paid, 12. But if you all of a sudden had the ability to buy a whole ton of packs at a discounted price, all of a sudden you have so much more dust to do whatever you want with, and it has like an actual impact on game and balance. And we won't see sales, I don't think, in any way, shape, or form, Black Friday or not. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, you could have a sale. They've done weird, bizarre, backward sales through the Android marketplace before, through like Amazon coins and stuff like that. But if you have a sale in this game because of dust, because it is the same dust, you get the same dust from the same cards regardless of what expansion it came from. You can't have a sale that reduces the cost of, say, GVG, but does not reduce the cost of the Grand Tournament because, well, I'm just going to buy a bunch of GVG cards, dust them, and craft my TGT cards for a fraction of the cost. However, I don't see why we can't see, even if it's, I don't know, 25 cents a pack discount, like for a day, a sale on
Yeah, if it's available to everybody, I don't see the problem. I mean, like people are saying in the chat room right now, if you buy it with like Amazon coins, you already can get a discount, right? You use it like Ray and I talks about this all the time. Like you buy the Amazon coins, and then you go to the Amazon store and you buy the packs using the coins, and you get like some bonus, right, which allows you to buy more packs. So it already is there as long as it's available to everybody. It's fine. But like you said, if you discount one, I think you will have to also say like if they go, oh, now from now on, our first expansion is now cheaper because it's so long ago. We want people to get all the cards, but the dust that comes out of those cards now goes down. So if you want to dust those cards, dust them now, because from here on out, those will be worth less dust. Like I think that would probably have to happen.
I think there would also be a little bit of a problem. Like the Amazon thing is available to everyone and it's constant. If you've got something like a Black Friday sale and it's like one day only or something like that, then you're going to have players that can take advantage and players that can't take advantage. And then that's going to kind of give some players more dust and other people didn't have the chance.
Well, it wouldn't be one day, though.
So,
like all the other ones were like a week long.
Even if
Yeah,
it
that's
was,
what they would do.
even if it was one day, though, that's complaining that you missed out on a sale, and I'm sorry, but that's how the world works.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think they can do
Yeah.
sales. They just didn't. I don't think they needed to. And, the
So
other games
I was going to say, so
needed.
do you guys then, where they didn't take advantage, but you think that a sale would be fine?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think they didn't do it? Just that they didn't have to? Like, people are buying card packs anyways? Or,
Probably.
is there another reason?
I can't think of any other logic other than, well, it's doing fine without us cutting the price. Why cut the price? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and then there's also might be more difficult than we know to discount card packs as far as code goes, and it's just like it's not really worth it for us to do this. In some of the other games, they have prices that move around a little more, and Hearthstone kind of has these set prices that don't move that much. If you look at like Heroes, they kind of put a lot of things in there at a lot of different price points, so it's probably much easier for them with their current system to adjust things. And Hearthstone's like, well, it's always been 99 cents a pack. Like, it's just what it is, or whatever, $1.99 for 2 or whatever it is, right? So changing code might not be something that they've ever been set up to do. When they offered the pre-release thing, that was like buying a one thing, like an item, and it wasn't like, oh, I can select a number of them and discount them all by a certain amount. It was like, no, you're buying this. It's like buying an adventure or something. You're buying this thing, this one thing. So they could set that price, but changing prices is actually sometimes a little more complicated.
I wonder if they didn't bother because you can't actually dust the cards that come out of adventures. I wonder if they didn't bother discounting older adventures like Nax just because most people already have it. Like maybe they looked at the numbers and were just like, I don't even know if there's a point in doing this. Everyone's already bought
Well,
Nax.
Yeah, but new players have to be constantly coming in. I mean, a game like this that's this big, people are still going to be kind of discovering it, so they won't have it. I mean, I do think at some point we will see those things go down in price. Especially with the adventures, it's like easier because you can't dust the stuff anyway. So all you're ever going to buy is these cards. And after a certain amount of time, it's like it just makes sense to have things be cheaper, I think. So I think we will see it at some point, just not anytime soon.
Yep.
kind of just put
All
a
right.
period on there.
Everyone hit your yep button. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Although I haven't had a chance to use this yet.
Nope. Ah, nice.
It's Dills and Jocelyn in unison saying,
We keep agreeing.
"Yep,
Keep agreeing. So there's no reason to ever use it.
yep." Well, that'll put a bow on this week's episode, or this week's Prime episode, because we got the Brawl episode coming up.
Gotta break that habit there, Gary.
I know. I started to, and then I just fell right back into it. Look at that. Thanks again to our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC. Thanks to those of you who are leaving us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store. If you are an iTunes listener and you like the show, drop us a 5-star review. This week, we wanted to thank Zarek09, TY Thick, who said it's better than Netflix and chill.
Damn. Damn, son.
Your Netflix and chilling is clearly lacking.
Angry
Carl,
chicken and chill, man. That's pretty cool, though. Yeah.
Oh man.
Carl,
He's like, yo, girl, you
I
want
don't
to come
wanna-
over? I'm going to put on the latest episode of The Angry Chicken.
And we can chill.
oh,
Oh.
He's just on the couch, like, trying to find a time to put his arm around her. and stuff.
that'll be the next spin-off show. Will be the Angry Chill.
The Angry Chill.
Yep,
Nice.
the Angry Chill.
Oh, I don't know if I want to be a part
All
of
we
that.
talk about is Freeze Priest and Freeze Mage.
Oh,
That's it.
okay. You took that in a much more innocent
Yeah.
direction.
No, literally, that's what we talk about.
Okay.
Decks that chill the other guy.
And make you angry. Cool. Awesome. Also, thank you to Carl Kaufman, Fake Avenger. That's all one word. Thank you to Fez116 and the bestest ever, who said we are cluckerific.
Oh.
So
I like when people invent words.
I do too. The Angry Chicken can be found on amove.tv and youtube.com/amovetv. Big thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H, LVE, and Barry Scott L. Get our t-shirt on slashloot.com. Make sure you spell out slash or you're not going to go website. Websites don't work like that. Follow us on Twitter. We're at TAC Podcast. We're on Facebook /amovetv, and we're on Reddit at tacpodcast.reddit.com. And join us on Monday nights. We're recording the show live now at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv. Follow the channel, give you a little alert when we're live. And also check out alphageekradio.com for the mobile live stream and briangriffithmusic.com for our intro music. Dills, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter. It's at Willie Dills, and check out the stream, twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. In lieu of talking about all the other podcasts I do, I will just tell you guys about the 12 Dills of Christmas, which will be starting on the 14th, and that means we'll stream every single day from the 14th to the 25th. Some of them may be shorter streams than others, but we will always adhere to our theme, and I'll let you guys know what that theme is for that day. Essentially, it's going to be one of the 12 Dills of Christmas, and it's going to be awesome. So come hang out with me. We'll be having themed cocktails certain times, and then, of course, the 19th, I'll be on Ashley's stream, which is twitch.tv/fakegamergirl. We're going to be making gingerbread house and candy cane cocktails
Will you on
and
one of
shepherd's
those?
pie.
Will you on one of those days sing the 12 Days of Christmas in the best South Park Jimmy voice impersonation that you can muster?
No promises, but there will be lots of Christmas music, and some singing will, I'm sure, occur from time to time.
Wonderful.
Although
I'm
it's
very
it's a Bublé free space, so
Oh.
Why you gotta hate on the Buble other than
he's fine. But I just want Sinatra when I'm having
Ah.
crooners sing Christmas songs.
well, I mean
Good choice.
that's like comparing Star Wars to Star Trek. It's just no contest. But
Well, no, it's like comparing like Deep Space Nine to Next Generation. It's like, come on, we're watching Next Generation.
wonderful.
The other one's fine too, but if I have this option, why would I take the other one?
I got so many people who messaged and emailed in about my Torin comment from last week, so I'm sure this week I'll get Star Trek fans writing in. So
Oh, I'm
That'll
sure,
be
and I'll get
great.
Bublé fans. It's
yeah,
this,
my-
is, this is the life
It is
we
what
lead,
it
right?
is. Yeah.
this is the life we chose.
Yep.
Jocelyn, where can folks find you?
On Twitter and Twitch at Joss Plays, as always on AMove TV, doing the Gamers In every Wednesday night. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about is Jory to Legend. So myself and Justin Robert Young are doing updates bi-weekly on our climb to Legend this month. We are having a ton of fun. You can find that either on AMove TV when I remember to actually do the hosting properly, and you can find it, we do stream over on his stream, which is twitch.tv/Jury Stone, Jury Stone. So yeah, check it out. We do it right before TAC on Mondays and Thursdays, although he's traveling next week, so we'll probably have to move the times around. But in theory, it's Mondays and Thursdays for the hour before TAC.
Yeah. Check it out, folks. You can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. I'm also on nomanart.com. That's my graphic design portfolio. Checking me out on Into the Nexus, talking Heroes of the Storm, and I'm on the Angry Nerd, talking to myself. It's all over at amove.tv. I should just say that. Go to amove.tv. All the shows are over there. And yeah, that'll do it. Thanks again to squarespace.com. Use the code TAC to get a discount on your first order. And we'll see you guys this Thursday for the next Brawl episode. Until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!